The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from eXp's top-producing icon agents? If you are an ambitious eXp agent ready to skyrocket your business, this podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your eXp business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Icons of Real Estate podcast. With us today, we have Connor Steinbrook. He started investing in real estate in Dallas 2014. He launched the Investor Army YouTube channel in 2017, which is now one of the fastest growing real estate YouTube channels in North America. At the end of 2017, Connor also joined eXp Realty, and he is today a top 50 or even more eXp Realty Influencer and founder of the Wolfpack Revenue Share Organization, as you can see by his hat, with over 1,650 real estate agents. Connor has also traveled to speak at a bunch of real estate events about all things surrounding the success in real estate. And today, he's traveling to your favorite avenue, Icons of Real Estate podcast. Welcome to the show, Connor.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. And so let's start as we usually do. So we start with your real estate journey. So please do tell.
Yeah, so I have a kind of a unique background, guys. So I went off to college in 2003. I live here in Dallas, Texas. I went to the University of Oklahoma to get a business marketing degree. And what actually happened was instead of getting a marketing degree, I majored in online poker is what I tell people. So I put $20 in a poker site online as a freshman in college, and just for fun, just like my other friends were doing. And I ran it into a small fortune. And in my mind, it seemed a lot easier to go play online poker for a living than to go get a job and work for someone else. And so I finished out my degree, and I basically for the next 8 years on and off, all I did was play poker to create a living for myself. And I had a great, early 20s, as you can imagine, it was a pretty fun lifestyle to have. But what happened to me was good things don't always last forever. And on April 15th, 2011, some of you guys will go on the internet to look this up. What was called Black Friday happened. Some of you guys listening to this remember this. It was when the U.S. Department of Justice had seized and shut down the biggest poker sites, Full Tilt Poker, Poker Stars, and Ultimate Bet. And who knows really what actually happened. Still, people are trying to figure it out. A lot of people just believe it's because these sites are regulated or weren't being able to be regulated the right way, and they were offshore, and that caused some part of it. But what happened was overnight, I lost everything. It'd been like if we all woke up tomorrow and the real estate industry was like, turn in your keys, turn in your properties, turn in your licenses. There's no more real estate industry. So it's a very tough time for me. And what happened was I had to move back home with my parents, as embarrassing as that sounds. Couldn't even move into my own room because it was storage now. I moved into my sister's bedroom, and I played poor me for a couple years. And I really didn't know what I was going to do. And then I decided, I need to make another swing at life. And so I started reading books, and I came across Think and Grow Rich and went down the self-development thought process a lot of you guys are going down, read all the cliche books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Power Positive Thinking. And if you guys are going down that process, that's the right process. That's what I did. It inspired me to jump into real estate. I failed miserably, and I went $100,000 in debt. And what happened was I didn't know what I was going to do. And I was trying to figure out how to keep money going, or keep enough money coming into my business to keep my websites and keep a couple other lead generation strategies I was doing, continuing going forward. And I was struggling at this moment. And I actually had to get a job working for minimum wage at Academy Sports and Outdoors just to keep enough money coming into my bank account. But I was watching YouTube videos, which was the game changer in my career. I was watching YouTube videos, trying to figure out how to generate leads with spending time, not money. I came across search engine optimization and building out WordPress websites, and Google had just acquired YouTube. So I started taking private YouTube channels and linking them to my websites. And I accidentally built the number one house buying websites in North Texas for a lot of the biggest long tail and short tail keywords. And I started generating a lot of leads on the internet. And I started out wholesaling houses, and I was wholesaling houses virtually in my marketplace. And then I started being able to raise money. And I started working with hard money lenders. I started flipping houses, and I became financeable again. I started buying rental properties, and I started to build a decent sized rental portfolio. Realized it was cash flow. It wasn't as much residual as I wanted or as passive as I wanted. So I went into owner financing. I started selling my properties on owner financing, taking down payments and creating notes for them, selling partial notes, holding some notes back. I did land deals, mobile homes on land. I did a lot in the single family space. And along the way, I started that channel, Investor Army, to kind of share the journey and help people avoid some of the mistakes that I made. And it kind of took off. And it's now Texas's #1 residential real estate investing YouTube channel. And then that channel is what led me to having a bunch of people reach out to me about EXP Realty, which I blew off for, over 2 years. I kept just having people reach out to me and I'd say, I'm sure it's great. It's not for me. And then I just kept blowing people off. And then what happened was I was speaking at a big event in Mississippi, an investing conference, and the #1 guy at EXP was speaking at that same event. And I was put up into a speaker's house for 3 or 4 days with a couple other speakers. And that's when I was really forced to kind of not be able to escape. And I had to take a look at the business model. And I was completely blown away for the ability to create wealth as agents. And I really liked the idea of the revenue share model. And so I moved my license to EXP the last week of December 2017. And since then, we built our Wolfpack organization to today, we're actually going to cross 1,700 agents. And in the past 30 days, we've added just 148 agents as of the podcast starting right now in just 30 days. So that's kind of how it all got to here, and kind of how it all played out. But it's as if you guys caught that story, there's a lot of adversity in it, but you just keep going and you just keep trying things because doors will open, and you don't know when the door opens, it's the door that's going to change your life. And so you just keep your head down, focusing on your business today, and wait for those doors to open tomorrow.
Yeah, nice. That's a very inspiring story, Connor. And it just goes by like whatever happens in your past, like it doesn't matter. Like you can start now. You can start tomorrow, next week. Like it doesn't matter if you were a poker champion that eventually went down.
Well, and that's an important point because, I hear it all the time with young entrepreneurs getting into business, and they're just like, well, I don't know how to do this, or I don't think I can do this, or I'm not good enough to do this, or whatever it is. And it could be on any one of a number of skill sets. It can be communicating with individuals, raising money, whatever it is. But the thing that they don't understand is that they're the only living animal or creature, or whatever you want to consider we are on this planet. We're the only one with a consciousness, which means that we can change our future by the thoughts that we have today. A cat can't do it, a dog can't do it, a bird can't do it, but you guys can change who you are in the future. And so by changing your thoughts today, now everybody understands they can change their body by repetition and resistance, and they can go to the gym and push against heavy weights for the resistance, and they can do it over and over through repetition, and they'll see a change in their physical body. But what a lot of entrepreneurs don't realize is they can get better. You guys can become more. You have the ability to build skill sets, and you can do the same thing. So when you guys are building your skill sets through self-development, and you're reading your books, and you're going to the podcast, that's the same thing as building resistance and repetition. Start going to the gym, but you need to think about it as you want to build a six-pack of the mind, build a future you that's strong enough to lift the problems in the future. And then a lot of people struggle with adversity early on in business, and they complain about it and they whine about it. But what they don't understand, what they're doing is they're showing the world they're not prepared to lift a heavier weight. So if you can't lift the small weights that you're being given right now, meaning the small problems you have with a small business, don't ever be entitled enough to ask for a bigger business if you can't handle the small problems, because when you have a big business, you're going to have bigger problems. So once you start shifting that mentality that these problems that you have today are an opportunity for you to get stronger so you can have bigger problems tomorrow, I think it changes the way people look at their business going forward, and they start to kind of transition and go a different direction.
Yeah, it seems to be looking at entrepreneurs and like a true sport, like an athlete.
It's exactly what it is. And also, like, you're going to see top entrepreneurs train like athletes for a number of reasons these days, for energy levels, just the appearance that you guys have. People judge people. And if you're in good physical condition, it's the first thing that people look at before you actually have words spoken. So first impressions and first experiences are very important when you're meeting new individuals. And if you come into a meeting with someone and you're in really good physical condition, the first thing that person knows before any word's been spoken is this person is a person of discipline, and discipline transcends different areas of life. So you need to start thinking about this, guys. It's not just your physical, appearance, how you look, it's how you feel in your body affects the, what happens in the future. So if your body's sick and your body's not feeling well, and actually like right now I'm getting over being sick, but when your body doesn't feel well, it affects your mind state. And then when your mindset's not strong, it affects your body. So if you're depressed, you're going to overeat, you're going to sleep in. So your body, your physical body and your mental state affect both from both sides. So you need to work on both in business, because both these affect, your future as far as what you can provide for your family.
For sure. Total 100% agree with that. And yeah, it's kind of ironic because you started with a marketing degree, right? Which you quit halfway, and then you kind of went back to it a bit with all the search engine optimization on YouTube and keywords. targeting? Like, did you get anything out of your degree and put on into your career, or was it really just just other knowledge that you didn't use?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't say I got some value at some point throughout my career and my
Yeah.
traditional education, but most of it came probably before high school, just to be honest, like,
Mhm.
basics like, math and,
Math.
you're going to pick off one-liners and, little things that you learned at different classes throughout your education. But for the most part, guys, if you want to be an entrepreneur, take everything you learned in school and just throw it away, just to be honest. Like, you're not going to have it, our educational system is not created to help you become successful in business. It's created to help you become successful as a job or working as an employee for a job. It's created to give you just enough skill sets that you can do what these big corporations need you to do, but not enough skill sets for you to go out and compete against them and build your own business. That's why you don't have high school classes, passive income streams 101, or time blocking 101, right? So they don't teach you entrepreneurship skill sets because it's not created for that reason, if that makes sense. So if I was to go back, and I've got podcasts and videos out there, if I had to relive my life, what I would have done is I would have skipped over college and I would have gone straight into business at age 18. I would have joined a network marketing company, something that was going to give me the ability to build a lot of skill sets in business without taking a lot of risk, because the business I started in, I went 100K in debt because it's capital intensive. So I'd find something, guys, whether it's like network marketing or affiliate marketing, something that doesn't have a high dollar risk to it, but you're going to learn a lot of business skill sets. They're going to help you later, and just start getting out there and start building relationships and going to business networking events and meeting people in business and being associating around people in business, reading books on business, getting skill sets on business. And I think that a lot of young entrepreneurs today are going to shortcut their path to success, and they don't need college. And the reason why I don't think people need college anymore is because information's everywhere. So in our parents' generation, college was like a requirement to have an edge in the marketplace, because unless you got had a mentor or somebody in your family helping you, or you had the personal initiative to go to the library and read books before the internet, before podcasts like this, before YouTube and easy access to information, that was the value in which we paid for information, because it was hard to get and it was limited for the people that could afford to pay for it. Now it's free and it's everywhere. I mean, I think I saw that Yale's curriculum is literally free on the internet now. So
Mhm.
the difference in who succeeds now is not who has access to the information. It's who implements it the fastest. Can't talk right now. Who's the one that can implement it the quickest, and who's the one that can constantly keep learning the new things that come into the marketplace. But everybody has the same information, so it's the speed of implementation is what's the difference maker now. But that's a long kind of answer there. But I don't think I took too much from my personal education growing up, and most everything I learned was that I use now came after, from just hard work and struggling and failing in business and learning how to not fail again. If that makes sense.
I think most people would agree with that if they're listening and they have some type of degree. Like, I bet it didn't teach anything about leadership or proactiveness or waking up early and doing everything in the morning. So yeah, I believe in that.
And
And
let me
yeah,
have one
go.
thing here, Tomas, for your followers, because like a lot of young individuals watch this. Like, so like when I went through school, make a joke that I graduated college with like the exact 0.10 of a degree I needed to graduate, and I retook a class twice. And I say I graduated college perfectly. Now, a lot of people would say, "Well, you barely passed," and I'm saying, "Well, I did this with intent because I didn't see a value in really what I was getting, and I had a pretty good degree." I saw it as, if I'm going to get the same degree that everybody else is, and it's going to have the same value to it, why not spend the least amount of time and energy to get that degree, if that makes sense? And so I was trying to not put my time into, school and education, not because I couldn't get straight A's. I was a straight A student all the way through, but because I didn't see a value in it. Now, on the flip side, when I started in business, like, it was tough to ever get me to read or study in college. But when I realized that my future was impacted by what I put through my mind today, and I was reading the right books that were going to change my future, give me a great income, give me my financial freedom, then I jumped into reading books again, and I read 200 plus books, and I enjoyed doing it this time. And I want to inspire you guys to maybe pick up a book again when it has to do with your future in business, because when it's something that's of interest to you, and it's going to help you get to that desired goal that you're trying to achieve, you're going to have a little bit different a different approach to how you're going to educate yourself, and you're going to have a hunger to educate yourself as compared to back when I was in college. You would have to have a bazooka to blast me towards a book that they forced me to read, if that makes sense. So don't think if you didn't have fun educating yourself in the college and high school was brutal for you guys, that today you can't pick up a book and enjoy educating yourself and gaining these new skill sets. It's just what you're choosing to look at and choosing to come across to study is going to be the difference in how you have the patience to sit down there and read that book or not. But I want to point that out for you, and for a lot of these young kids that probably don't ever want to pick up a book again. If you want to pick up a book, pick up the right book, and you'll enjoy the right book if it gets you to your future.
Yeah. And man, that was really smart what you said about like spending the last time possible on the degree, because everyone is looking for an end result, right? It's like a medal. So whoever spends less time to get the same medal as the other guy that spends 5 times more time, like that's actually more efficient. That's not being
Right.
a bad student.
Right. And it would have been like if I was struggling, but it was a conscious choice. And so, you guys, and I know there's some parents on here probably pulling their hair out. I'm trying to give you you're honest, like if you want your kids to make a 7-figure income, like a lot of us do in business, these are the things I did. I studied business skill sets and business books, not what I learned in college, even though I got a business degree. And so if you guys you're listening to this and your kids are coming up in high school, you're coming through college, hopefully you're taking what I'm telling you kind of with a sincerity behind it, that you can think about, college may not be the direct path for your children. What if they're built to be an entrepreneur? What if they're built to go into business today? And if they go into college and waste 5 years, that just puts them farther behind the starting line. Whereas if they start in business today, once they make most of their beginner rookie mistakes in business, they're going to be 2-3 years in. They wouldn't even have graduated college, but now they're going to be a decade ahead of everybody else, when most people don't start in business until their late 20s or early 30s, from what I see. Yeah.
And yeah, so let's maybe move past that college, because as you said, some parents may be already logging off right now.
Yeah.
And let's go over to talk a bit more about Agent Wolfpack. So you co-founded the organization with Mike Sherrard, right? Who was already a guest here on the show to the ones that pay attention. And can you tell us a bit, how do you find managing such a big team under you? Like it's hundreds and hundreds of agents.
Yeah. So Mike and I run the Wolfpack organization. And so it's not as what you would seem on the surface, I guess you could say. So the way that EXP works is it has a back-end management system to it. So the company has well over 1,000 paid employees that pretty much handles anything and everything for us as individuals that run teams through the company. They're going to handle the accounting, they're going to handle the transaction processing, they're going to handle, tech questions and anything and everything in between. So the reason why a lot of people, including, Mike and myself and a lot of brokers, hundreds of brokers have just moved their business to EXP, is to get outside the management process. So in business, one of the most frustrating things is the back end side. So if all you guys had to do was focus on lead generation and doing transactions, and you didn't have to worry about processing, taxes, paperwork, filing, accounting, and all that on the back end, which is really the parachute behind our race car that slows us down, think about how far you would go. So on a monthly basis, at EXP, I pay $85 a month to hold my license there, since I'm not in direct production and I just focus on growing the team. Our organization is selling, which we can see, 400 to 500 houses a month. And then all the transactions that capping agents sell after capping, because our system's set up in a way I can't see them, hundreds of transactions more. So these hundreds of houses a month are being processed by virtual broker rooms in each state. So we now have agents, I believe, in 44 states. So I have a broker room that EXP runs. They're the one handling the contract review. They're the one handling processing. They're the one handling checks. And at the end of the year, I got a 1099 sent to me just a few days ago. So the management side is taken off our plate to run our organizations through EXP, which is a big blessing for a lot of us. Now, what we focus on is on training the agents, creating masterminding systems, creating courses, creating tools, creating marketing strategies, and then helping our agents learn how to learn how to grow their teams and things like that. So we focus on the peer-to-peer relationship working with the agents, but the back-end management's handled by EXP, which is the benefit of being here, is that we don't have to deal with that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. So like you basically handle the fun parts. What types of training you and Mike are currently like giving to your agents? What are you focusing on? Like keeping in mind all the changes, right? Like even like in technology, in the economy, in the industry of real estate, and what it's to come to 2022. Like what do we have to train ourselves?
Yeah. So obviously in 2022, and it will be for a long time, the number one way to build a business is social media, paid and organic strategies, but primarily video marketing. So video marketing by far is going to be the number one way to grow a business, and for a number of reasons, which we can go into. But some of the things that we provide our partners is, Mike has his YouTube course, his Facebook course, his IG course, his Manny Chatbot course. I have a YouTube training academy system that we've created. All the agents in our organization get all these courses for free. They get Mike's social media, social academy. And then on my side, we built out a independent recruiting academy built specifically on how to train agents, how to start, grow, and manage and lead a team at DXP. And then they also get access to my investing courses, like my house flipping academy, which is like an over 100 videos sequentially ordered house flipping course on how to go through projects start to finish to keep your carrying costs low, funding sources, and things like that. So they're getting 6, 7, 8 courses. Day one, they come in on all different topics and strategies. And then we run a masterminding system where we're doing live mastermind calls pretty much most days of the week, where these agents, if you guys see all our posts on the internet, where we're getting hundreds of agents a week to hop on these calls with us, this is where we're going into higher level breakdowns on like real strategies that people are using. And we have, first year agents with us, Sum and Kim is a great testimony, for people coming over here with us, also just at the company and having success at EXP. He did $66 million in sales his first year and over 80 transactions working with us. And we have a number of agents that have come over here doing very similar things, where they're doing tens of millions of dollars in sales, working very simple YouTube strategies that we're teaching them, primarily working out of state buyer leads coming from New York and California, moving into other states. And so there's certain things that we're training the agents on, and we do this in a live setting. And then we also have the video courses and a couple other training systems behind the scenes. But most of what we focus on is video marketing. And I don't know how deep you want to go into that, but we could. But that's the main gist of what we're helping agents with, is building their brand publicly on the internet and focusing on how to generate business around that brand and around the views that they're getting, because there's a big disconnect right now with social media on the internet. It can be the biggest blessing in your business, but can also destroy your business if you don't do it right. And if you don't have a net that has, let's say if your net has a bunch of holes in it, it doesn't matter if the salmon are running, if you're getting a ton of views, if you can't build a business around those views. So what I mean is, if you're not driving through calls to action and driving people to email lists, into funnels, into retargeting systems, into mastermind groups, into Facebook groups, if you're not getting these individuals coming to your channel or your platforms into some type of arena where you can work with them going forward, then all you're doing is creating attention and you're not building a business around it. And that's the big breakdown where I see a lot of influencers struggle with. A lot of them have a lot of views and subscribers, but very few dollars in their bank account. And what we help people understand is how to convert the attention into actual leads and how to actually turn it into a business, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I checked that you're already like a special genius on the YouTube video marketing part. And when I talk with Mike, we also like we went very deep on how social media is important, and we talked about Social Agent Academy. Yeah. And about video marketing, like what I want to ask you is, just so I can get some reason into it, like I would understand how video marketing is important in terms of growing your team in the revenue share way, but in terms of selling houses, how does a video on YouTube is going to help you sell a house or convert a lead?
Yeah, so that's a big word that you just brought up, conversion. And so the number one thing I want you guys to understand, and where a lot of people struggle, is how they plan to grow their business and scale their business. So I'd say the whole world lives in lead generation. So let's say that, like I was spending X amount of dollars a month, it doesn't matter. And I was generating X, let's say 10 leads a month. And out of those 10 leads, I was getting 1 contract. That's a 1 to 10 conversion rate. So if you ask individuals out there in business, how do you double your business? Their mind's going to first think linearly. They're going to say, well, I'm going to have to spend twice the amount of money, twice the amount of time to generate twice the amount of leads. So I'll get 2 out of 20 leads, if that makes sense. So lead generation. But the problem with that is, What if you don't have more time? And what if you don't have more money? Your business can't scale. And a lot of people are starting their business without any money, if that makes sense. So the easier way to scale your business is to increase the conversion side. And so instead of 10 leads coming in, you close one, why not figure out how to close 2 or 3 or 4 out of 10? And that way, when you generate twice as amount of leads, let's say you close 3 out of 10, now you generate 20 leads, now you're doing 6 out of 20. So I want you guys to start thinking conversion first. Now, what creates a higher conversion is credibility in the marketplace. So anytime you have a microphone in your hand, you're on stage speaking, you have a book licensing deal where there's all sorts of book licensing companies that let you guys have this, getting yourself on a magazine cover, and then the big one on camera. Something happens, when individuals look at someone else on camera based off, a lot of different studies and all sorts of different things, but we grew up with the television in front of us, and who's on TV? People in a hierarchy, or who are higher up in the hierarchy pyramid, I guess you could say, politicians, athletes, movie stars, people that we would traditionally see as somebody that's above in the hierarchy structure, if that makes sense, which creates credibility. So let's say that I'm on camera and putting videos on the internet and you're not, and everything else is held constant. When we go to the homeowner in the same pitch and everything's done identical and everything's same, if we could have like a constant variable, all the variables constant, but the difference is I'm all over the internet on camera and you're not anywhere to be found, the difference in the perception of credibility and that this person must be out there and they can't find anything bad on the internet, they're going to naturally gravitate towards the higher position of credibility for the person they're working with, if that makes sense. Same thing in the flip side. Let's say you've done 100 transactions in your marketplace as compared to the agent that's never done a transaction. Who has more credibility for that individual as a homeowner once they know this information? So their clients are going to move towards credibility all the time. So that's one way that you're going to get more listings and more clients than working or competing against your other partners. Second thing is the amount of time that you're out there marketing. Most of the traditional marketing channels and things that people are doing are very time intensive, neighborhood farming, door knocking, cold calling. You're looking at a direct time being traded for a direct time being traded back to you, meaning a one-to-one time unit. So if I go knock a door, I can only knock one door. If I go cold call someone, I can only cold call someone one time. But if I took the time to go knock that door, or I took that same time to create a call someone, and I filmed a video and put it on the internet, what did I just do? Everybody understands the difference between active income and passive income and the way that it comes in. Now I've created a reactive, passive type of marketing. So I could put a video out once on YouTube and it's evergreen content. It could be there years later, which I have videos from 4 years ago still generating business today. So I could put one video out, trade to 15 minutes of my time. But if 100,000 people watch that and spend 15 minutes each back, look at the time leverage of the time units that I spend in relationship to the return of time that's given back to me. The other thing is you cannot possibly work more hours in a day with traditional marketing strategies. So like there's no way you could door knock 25 hours a day. But if you put enough videos out that aggregate up to where the amount of views come in, where you have different individuals watching your videos, you could easily get to where you're having 25, 40, 70, 100 hours a day of videos being watched, depending on the amount of videos and size of your channel. So you're increasing the time in front of the consumer. You're increasing the credibility fix, so the conversion rates are higher. When people call you, you're going to close most of these contracts or get most of these under contract. And the reason why is because if they reach out to you as compared to you reaching out to them, it's a difference of control and leverage. They wouldn't have watched your videos on the internet and said, this person's someone that I don't want to do business with, and call you. They only call you once they vetted you. So you're saving a lot of time in the rapport building process ahead of time. And then you just have a much higher level communication process when you're speaking to someone versus doing like a text ad. So in the order of the most important forms of communication, it goes text form first, which is just email, phone, text, Facebook text. Second form is audio form. Third form is in video conferencing, like we're doing right now. And the fourth form is in person on the way that you're going to see conversion rates happen. And the easiest example I give people is a baseball game. You can read about that baseball game in the newspaper, which is text form. You can listen to it on the radio, which is audio form. You can watch it on TV, which would be, kind of what we're doing right now. And then the fourth would be you could go to the game in person. And so start thinking sensory overload. And so the main thing is you want to have body language communication, the tonality and the emphasis of the words that you're saying, not just what you're saying, but how you say those words, which is a big part of communication, because what we're really doing when we're communicating is transferring energy. So people remember how you made them feel, not exactly what you said. So you always want to try to be on video because you're getting nonverbal communication, the actual words that you're saying, and then they can also see the tonality associated to the nonverbal body language when you're speaking, meaning the mannerisms of the face. But those are all big reasons why YouTube is going to help you guys get more deals and have higher conversion rates.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like time, energy, communication, all that. And if that converts into growing your business, it does make sense. And I think you explained that very accurately.
Oh, thank you.
And yeah, I'm just curious about the whole process. So okay, we have a YouTube channel. We are growing the traffic of the YouTube channel. We are growing an authority. People are watching the YouTube video. What is the type of call to actions that you use in terms of having them contact you, or actually reaching into the conversion? Like, do you usually use like call now or text me now, or do you add them to like a mailing list first and then you nurture them?
Yeah. So when people come to your channel, you're just borrowing the attention. In order to control the attention and actually have a business, you have to get them into like an email list or something like this. So we use what's called a CTA, which you just mentioned is called a call to action. And there's a number of different types of CTAs, I guess, if you put them in buckets. The first and easiest one is the one you're talking about right now, which is just a verbal CTA. So while we're on this podcast, if you're watching it, hey guys, go check out my YouTube channel, Investor Army, or hey, go check out www, whatever website I'm going to send them to. That's just a direct verbal call to action. Now, people I think are kind of getting, I mean, verbal call to actions definitely work, but I think people are starting to get to where it's annoying for them if they're always doing a verbal call to action. So what you see now, if you pull up Mike's videos or a lot of big channels, they have what's called an overlay pop-up call to action. This is going to be when the video's playing, the person's not actually speaking it, redirecting attention. You're going to see like a little link or like a graphic or a logo pop up. For example, go on over to agentwolfpackfounder.com or whatever it is, and so you're going to see the overlay pop up come up. And this is a little bit more of a passive kind of call to action, but it's still going to redirect their attention. So that's going to be a pop-up, and these are embedded inside the video. Now, what's becoming more and more common, and what I'm seeing is one of the best call to action conversions, because it's very passive, is a studio setting background call to action. So like, let's say if you have on your wall painted behind you or on a shelf, www. whatever your other business is that you're trying to drive people to. So, or if I have like EXP Realty or something behind me. So you're going to see a lot of different, people put their main businesses or their main call to actions behind them so that people just watch it. And so they see it every single time, but they're never pointing at it. They're never calling people to go there. It's just there and present. So they're always seeing it, if that makes sense. Another area that you guys are going to put your call to actions in an embedded area is in your channel art. So when you go to a landing page and you see the channel art of the channel, it's going to have the websites and links that you're going to go to there. And then the last, you can put your call to actions at the end of the video. When your outro pops up, you can redirect people through your outro. And then another section for people to do this is in your description area underneath the video. You can drive people to all your links, and you can just simply use a verbal call to action to redirect them to that description call to action, which is, hey, go check out the description below, guys. You can see all the different things we provide, or all the different courses that I sell, or all the different trainings that I have, or all the different whatever. And then the last one would be the pin section. So there's on your channel, guys, there's what's called a pin. Just think about like a pin board when you're taking like a business card like this and pinning it up to like a cork board. So think of that with your comment. There's a pin section, which is the very first comment of the thread. It's going to essentially, once you write a comment, some type of engaging comment, it'll pin your comment at the top. So that comment will never move towards the bottom of the thread. So even if 1,000 comments happened on your video, your comments stuck right at the top of that thread, and it'll be pinned there directly at the top. And you can use this as a redirection or call to action as well. So those are probably the main call to actions that people are using. And then what you want to do is you want to drive them to an email list. You want to use something like ClickFunnels, where you're going to give out something for free, or give out, for example, like our YouTube course. I give out a free mini YouTube course, which is like 9 videos of the course. So it's one section. I'll give this out. People get something of value for free. They put their information in. Now they're in my email list, and now I can market to them through repeat drip marketing. The other thing you can do is you can use retargeting pixels, drive people to something that they're going to click, and it's going to follow them around the internet. You can urge to get people to come into like a Facebook group or free mastermind system. But these are all typical calls to actions and different ways that people are driving the attention from the call to action to where they can kind of control that attention.
Yeah, I just imagine like with that many call to actions, people never thought they would be so like such a complex area, right? And with call to actions, I guess like you can write a book on that. So yeah, if you're listening to this, like you better go study more if you don't understand what Connor is saying.
It's not as much as it sounds, guys. And one thing is, if you guys are, at a point where you're trying to evolve in business, the biggest thing that keeps people from taking action on new things is, or learning new skill sets like this, is perceived difficulty, not actual real difficulty. So for example, like to say verbal call to action, it takes seconds in the video. To post an overlay call to action, it is literally just taking that and attaching it to your video when you're merging your video, or your assistant can do that. And then to have a setting in the background, and it's already there, and then all these other calls to action, you guys can have pre-written descriptions that you just cut and paste. So it sounds like a lot, guys, but you should be doing all these on all your videos, and it's going to be something that takes minutes per video to do. So a lot of people create a perception of difficulty. They see all these different tabs in the back office of YouTube, and all these different analytics and traffic sources and things like this that seem like a different language to them, but they never really attempt to actually go through and study what they are. And if they did, they realize actually this is pretty simple. So there's a huge difference between perception of difficulty and actual real difficulty, but it's the perception of difficulty that creates a fear in our mind that causes us to procrastinate and not take a risk to go spend time or money learning something. Whereas if we actually went to go do it, we'd realize this is way easier than I scared myself in my mind to believe. And this is not something that's that difficult to learn. So you just need to just take action, guys, and go out there and start figuring these things out and building these skill sets, and stop thinking that a lot of these things are going to be way more difficult than they actually are to learn.
Exactly. And yeah, Connor, so we are aware of like what you're doing right now with your projects. Like, are you still an active investor in Dallas, or are you focusing 100% on this Agent Wolfpack team?
Yeah, so pretty much the majority of my time goes into helping our agents and scaling the organization. And I go into big detail on why that's the case. I still am actively buying real estate. I'm not actively flipping houses like I was, so I shut my flipping house business down. And so I used to flip quite a few houses, but it's a very time-intensive strategy, and there's a lot of working parts to it. And you can't be everywhere at once. You can't say two things at one time. You can't spend $1 in two places at one time. So what the point is you have to find the highest and best use of your time throughout a week, month, or a year. And so when I'm looking at growth rates and return on risk and return on dollars, and my time allocated in different areas out of over 20 separate income streams that I've been able to build through my career, the revenue share model at EXP is without a doubt the single fastest scalable residual income model with the lowest risk that's ever been in business. And that's my opinion. I've been saying it for 4 years now. So I was able to scale a residual income, equivalent to almost 500 rental houses with no debt, exponentially growing, doubling, over and over on an annual basis. In comparison to what it would take me to do that with building my rental portfolio, it wouldn't be possible to do it because of the process of raising capital, closing on these properties after marketing in the marketplace, interest-only loans, then stabilizing the properties, forcing the appreciation up, refinancing out with an amortizing loan, and then dealing with toilets, tenants, termites, and back in dollars in my accounts, and all the money moving around. It's just not as fast as I could do it doing it the way with the revenue share model. So instead of buying houses where I'm adding the value to the equity position by renovating them, what I'm doing now is I'm buying properties more as an actual true investment, I guess you could say, where I'm buying properties that don't have that big time value attached to it, meaning I'm going to buy a house that's in a little bit nicer condition, but I'm going to overpay for it more than I would have when I was buying houses to create the forced appreciation. So I might pay 85, 87 cents on the dollar when I used to only pay 75, 78 cents on the dollar at the max, but I'm avoiding the time amount into it. So now I'm picking select properties in the right areas that meet direct criteria that I'm looking for. So like my rental properties, I like in the 150 to 200K price point. I like, in the 1,400 to 2,000 square foot 4-2 brick rancher type of house, by funnel zones or by schools or by hospitals, in those types of areas. And there's a number of reasons for this. I like to be around hospitals and medical facilities because a lot of times individuals that work at these places, if they get behind on payments, they can pick up extra shifts. I like to be around, schools and also just like, if I ever want to Airbnb the property in the future, there's going to be a lot of opportunity around hospitals and things like that because people travel in for family all the time. Same thing with schools. Good areas to have rental properties because parents are going to pay for the kids rent, and they're going to make that payment if they're paying for their school. So these are some of the things I focus on. But yes, I'm still buying houses. I'm not just running like an active flipping business though. I'm just selectively building my portfolio with more targeted properties that I'm not really renovating the way I used to.
Still, I think it's way different than the other agents, the other team leaders and mega agents of EXP Realty, because as as what we've seen here on the podcast, they just focus on managing the team, and they don't quite invest in real estate like you do.
Well, they're going to need to. So like, like the problem is, and so like, agents, they don't traditionally understand how wealth is created. That's why they sell real estate. Real estate's created, or wealth is created through owning real estate, through equity, if that makes sense, and cash flow. And so, a lot of them are like to see the cash in their bank account, I guess you could say. And I have a lot of friends that are sitting on like 500, a million, over $1 million sitting in their bank account. And to an investor like myself, it's like a mortal sin, because I'm like, I use my money to create money. And if you guys are sitting there with your cash in your bank account, think about the risk you're taking, for one. So cash is trash, because if you hear that saying, because you're losing to inflation and you're losing to the opportunity cost of what you would return on that dollar. So if you have $1 million sitting in your account, even basic investments could create $150,000+ cash flow off that $1 million. So they're sitting there with all their money sitting there, and they like to see it, but you need to get that money out there investing, guys. Like, you need to get your dollars to work for you. So you work to create more dollars while your dollars are creating more dollars for you. And both those you then add on top of what you've already created, and you keep layering cash flow models and building that up. But the thing is, a lot of these agents, if they don't build a residual income stream, they're going to work forever. It doesn't matter because if they're making big money, because what I see is very few of them have the discipline to kind of save and put that money away, invest it. They like to spend it as fast as they make it. So I know a lot of people that make 300, 400, 500K a year as agents, and then at the start of the next year, they're literally starting over. And so they do this decade after decade, and then they wake up later in their career, their energy levels are lower, their motivation is lower, because they've been doing it for so long. You can't be excited about something that you've been doing that long. And then they want to step away from the industry, and they don't know how. And so they just have to keep selling, and they have to keep selling. If you don't start building your residual income, you will work forever. The only way you will not have to work is if you have passive income, because that's going to give you money freedom and time freedom. So that's the one thing. If you guys are agents, whether you come over here to do it through EXP Revenue Share, which a lot of agents are setting themselves financially free that way, or if you're going to do it through a rental portfolio or through a note portfolio, or you want to start lending your money as a passive money lender, building a network marketing business, affiliate marketing, something you have to do to create an automated, systematic income stream that's residual, to give you your time freedom back, because otherwise you're just going to keep on having to repeat that cycle every year and start over. And I think a lot of agents should be investing their money instead of keeping it just sitting there, because a lot of them just let it sit in their bank account, is what I'm seeing as I partner with more agents. Yeah.
So we are at the beginning of the year now, my friend, just getting in February. So how are your goals looking for this year?
Yeah, great. So it's been a good year so far. So this year, I think we'll be able to get our organization up to about 3,500+ agents. And so far, we started out the year in January, we added 148 agents to the organization. So it's our biggest month yet that we've grown, and we're just speeding up. So everything's looking good so far, and we're working on creating a lot more for our partners this year, as far as different trainings and systems and things like that we're building out right now. Mike Shard and I are behind the scenes. And so, yeah, we're just going to continue pushing this and working to help a lot of our leaders get to the, their financial freedom number. It's pretty much the goal.
Nice. And tell us, Connor, I think you already told us with some verbal call to actions in the middle of the episode, but now tell us, how can our audience reach you?
Yeah, I mean, you guys can obviously go over, if you want to learn about investing, you can go watch my YouTube channel. It's called Investor Army. And so you guys can go check that out. If you want to reach out to me to learn more about what we're doing with the Agent Wolfpack and what we created here, you can just reach out to me by text, is the easiest way. It's 469-855-6963. I know it's weird that I'm giving my number out, but we get so many emails and so many Facebook Messenger posts, guys. If you try to reach out to me through email, there's a good chance that you're not going to get a response, because I have assistants screen these. So the fastest way to get a busy person is to go directly to their phone. And so you guys can text me. You can reach out to me on Facebook or like Instagram or something like that. But the fastest way is just to reach me at 469-855-6963. And just text me and say, I saw you on podcast. I want to have a conversation about what it looked like to partner with you at EXP or something like that.
Perfect. Thanks, Connor. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did as well. And yeah, I hope we can match our synergies in the future.
Yeah, man, anything I can do, just let me know. And just once again, thank you for trusting me to get in front of your audience. And hopefully I shared something that kind of triggered some thought processes for some of the agents watching this today. And I appreciate you having me on the show.
Perfect. Have a good one. Bye, Connor.
Yep. Have a good day, man.